I've been working on a tow truck for 3 years. The highway at night is a strange place. Everything feels different than it does during the day. My shift starts at 10 at night when the city goes quiet. I sit alone in the cab, the only lights coming from the dashboard, and the engine hums. That night the air felt heavy, and the fog on the road was so thick I could barely see the way. The first order came in after 2 in the morning. The dispatcher's voice on the radio was very scratchy, even though they were nearby. They gave me an address on an old highway. It had been closed for repairs for 5 years, but I went anyway because they paid double for night calls like that. I drove in the dark, and on the radio I heard a strange whispering instead of music. The sound disappeared if I turned the volume up. Finally my headlights hit a car on the shoulder. It was an old black sedan. It was covered in dust, as if it had been sitting there for many years. I turned off the engine, and it became very quiet. The driver started to get out of the car. He moved very strangely and smoothly, not like a normal person at all. I started to feel uneasy. I looked closer. It was a very tall and thin old man in a long coat. He was limping and leaning on a cane. I thought I just imagined something strange because of the fog. I got out of the cab and had a smoke. The man said hello politely. He said the car broke down and his phone was dead. I started working. The sound of the metal and the normal job calmed me down. I told the old man to sit in my cab so he wouldn't freeze. When I pulled his car onto the platform and secured it, I wiped my hands and thought I'd be home drinking tea soon. I sat at the wheel, turned on the heater, and drove. In the mirror I could see the black car following us on the trailer. We drove for about 20 minutes. It was warm in the cab and I stopped being afraid. The old man just sat there and looked ahead. I asked him where to take him. He named a village in the woods. I had never been there. To get there, we had to turn onto an old forest road. I wasn't scared. My truck is powerful, and they promised a lot of money for the job. I looked in the mirror to check the load, and I thought I saw someone inside that car. I decided it was just reflections from the lights and kept driving. The forest around us became very thick. The old man started whispering something and tapping his fingers on his cane. Tap, 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 like a clock. I asked him how long he had lived here. He slowly turned his head. The light from the buttons hit him, and I saw that his skin was too smooth like a doll's. He smiled and said he had lived here so long he forgot what the sun looked like. The cab started to smell like something burnt and gross. I stepped on the gas to get there faster, but the road started to twist in a strange way. The speedometer showed 80, but the trees outside moved very slowly. I looked in the mirror again. Now I saw it clearly. Someone black was sitting in the back seat of that car. This silhouette had its face pressed against the glass. I got very scared. I slammed on the brakes. The truck jerked, but there was no sound of brakes. It was absolutely quiet. The old man didn't even move. His fingers started tapping on the cane even faster. I looked in the mirror again. The one sitting in the car was now pressing his forehead against the glass, and his breath left a fog on the window, but that car was locked, and the keys were right in front of my eyes. I turned to the old man to ask who was in there, but I couldn't say a word. His neck had become long, and his head was resting on his shoulder. He wasn't looking at me, but in the reflection of the glass I saw his eyes. They were completely black, with no white parts. He whispered, "It doesn't like it when we stop, Igor." How did he know my name? At that moment there was a loud bang from behind, as if something heavy had jumped into that car. The whole truck shook. Then I heard the sound of claws scratching right under the floor of the cab. The old man went silent. The back window of the cab broke, and long gray fingers reached inside. They smelled like wet dirt and rot. I floored the pedal. The engine roared, but the wheels just spun in place. Those fingers dug into my seat right behind my head. It was very cold. The old man started to wheeze and deflate like a popped ball until only his skin was left. Behind us, the roof of the black car began to bend, as if something big was trying to get out. The headlights shone ahead, but there was no road anymore, just a black hole and dry trees. The brakes didn't work. The creature from behind pushed its head into my broken window. I felt its breath on my neck. It smelled very bad. I screamed, closed my eyes, and then there was a huge crash. Everything turned upside down. I woke up from the cold. The glass inside was covered in ice. I couldn't feel my legs. They were stuck in the floor. I turned my head. The old man was gone. His cane was lying on the seat and slowly sinking into it like it was a swamp. From behind, I heard a sound like metal being torn. Someone was ripping open the roof of my cab. I looked in the mirror and wanted to scream, but I couldn't. In the mirror, I didn't see a car. I saw a giant mouth made of iron and meat, slowly covering my cab. Cold hands touched my shoulders. Fingers started digging into my skin. The old man's voice sounded right inside my head. "We are here, Igor. Get out. They are waiting for you." My body started moving on its own. I saw myself from the outside, getting out of the truck and walking on grass that immediately turned into ash. I looked back one last time. Sitting in my place in the truck was another me, pale and with empty eyes. That second me put the truck in gear and drove away into the fog.